Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. So let's get started with this video. In this video, I'll be sharing my interview experience with IBM. How was the timeline like, what questions were asked, etc. So let's just get started. So I saw the opportunity on LinkedIn where IBM was hiring like for an associate program in Calgary location. So then I just quickly applied for the position, and then I believe 3, 4 days later, after me finishing the application, I got the coding assessment round. So the coding assessment round just had about, I think, two questions, two programming questions, and I had to run them to make sure that all the test cases were successfully passed. Now, the two coding questions, I think they were like medium level lead code questions. Um, Pretty spot on, straightforward. So no issues in that. And then after I cleared the coding assessment round, I got a video assessment round. So this video assessment round was basically it's like a platform uh, where you have to like there's a question that's presented on the screen. You have to look at the question and you have to give an answer. So the question is presented for 1 minute. It's like uh, on the spot. So the question is presented for 1 minute. You have to read the question, think about an answer, and you have to give an answer for 3 minutes continuous. So the two questions that were asked was, why do you want to join IBM? And how are your skills best for the role that you've applied to? So these were the two questions. I had applied to a software developer role, so I had to answer on that pretext. And then why IBM? I answered that as well. So once again, 1 minute to read the question, understand the question, and then you have 3 minutes to answer that question. And then after finishing my video assessment, I was moved to the next stage, which was a basic questionnaire. So the HR personnel would reach out to you and ask you series of questions. Questions like, have you graduated? This role is in Calgary. So are you ready to move to Calgary if you're not located? What is your status in Canada? And what are your availability for the next interview? So you have to share your interview slots. Are you all right with the salary package? So these were the questions. And then after you complete the questionnaire, you move into something known as a business review. So business review stage, what happens is you have like cleared all the criteria, and if the business, that means if IBM, if the hiring department of IBM likes your resume, then they move forward with an interview. If not, then you won't be selected. So here I would pause and I want to say that obviously I had applied to jobs at IBM previously as well, with referral as well. And I had reached the business review stage. I believe this was in for the location of Toronto. But then after the business review stage, my application did not go forward. So I was not called for any interview. So even at the business review stage, you might be called for an interview, you might not be called. So fingers crossed. Then after that was the interview. So now is the interview process. This was basically an in-person interview. There were two in-person interviews totally. Both of them were a mix of technical and managerial. The second interview was more technical focused. So this is how it was. So two interviews, 1 hour each in person in Calgary. So first interview. First interview, I will divide it between technical questions and non-technical questions. It basically, first of all, it started off with tell me about yourself. And then tech questions were, what's your favorite programming language? Questions from my resume, questions of the projects that are in my resume, especially cloud specific. Explain object-oriented programming with examples. Explain APIs with examples. Now you need to explain an API for a 10-year-old. So you have to explain API in a very, very easy way to understand. Then you have experience with CI/CD processes, experience with Java Spring Boot. What issues do you face with Spring Boot? So technical questions are those. Non-technical are, how do you handle team conflicts? How do you go above and beyond? So whenever you're doing a project, how do you make sure that you go above and beyond than what is required? um, your strengths and weaknesses. Do you have any report writing experience? Uh, Tell me about IBM's history. This is like trademark questions. Tell me about IBM's history. What is IBM doing in the AI space to compete with other companies in the market? Why do you want to work at IBM? How flexible are you? Are you open to do delivery work? So delivery work is another section that comes within IBM consulting. Then any experience with client-facing roles. So these were the questions that were asked during my first interview. And they were for the first interview, there were like three panelists. One was a senior software developer, one was a delivery project manager, and one was like a manager in general. So these were the questions that were asked. And yeah, so it went very well and they were very friendly. If you do not know something, then they would say it's all right if you do not know, but we just want to, like grasp the concept, whether you know the concept or not. So that was interview one. Now we'll move to interview two. Interview two was again 1 hour. This was a little bit more technical focused and a lot of back and forth of the questions. So, first question is difference between native app development and OS specific app development, difference between React and Angular, your cloud experience, share your cloud knowledge, what services have you used in cloud, what different cloud providers you have used. In your recent project, what did you do over and beyond than normal? So, like, pick any project and what did you do over and beyond? Like, how did you do something different in the project? Again, why IBM? Um, what are your expectations from this role? And what do your peers say about you? So these were the questions in interview two. And what happened in interview two was that the answers I had to give were longer. So, the questions were kind of broad and I had to start covering all the aspects. So, and then for whatever answer I gave, there was some cross questioning as well. So that was about interview two. So yeah, that's about my interview experience with IBM. And then in the third interview, basically the HR personnel would call you and set up, I think, about 10 minutes. They would discuss about salary, next stage, whether you're accepted or not, and so forward. So that's all my interview experience was. So I hope this helps somebody who is currently going to interview with IBM. All right. All the best, everybody. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.